Hey guys, Josh from Solution Based. I'm gonna do filter location because that's another number one thing that customers uh, don't have a good handle on. And I'm here to tell you it is absolutely essential that you know where your filters are and that you change them. If you can imagine your system is normally blowing under normal conditions, blowing nice and easy. When you get a dirty filter, it's like it's sucking through a straw. And just like you, if you sucked all your air through a straw, you'd feel like you were going to pass out. So does your system. And not changing your filters and not cleaning coils are two of the number one things that shorten system life. It goes installer. Installer is the number one thing that gives system life. Getting a qualified installer that knows what they are doing and makes sure that your system is sized correctly and applied correctly, and all that stuff is the number one thing. Then after that, it's you guys, and it's filter, filter, filter. That is the number one thing you can do, is change that filter often. And then lastly is do your seasonal maintenances, because there's part of this that need to be cleaned and taken care of that you just are not equipped to manage. So that last piece is letting us come in twice a year, cleaning it and making sure that it has the proper amount of airflow. And I will tell you this, the more efficient systems get, the less tolerant they are to airflow issues. A system, and I often have systems in older homes that were put in 20 years ago, and a 20 years ago system would allow for the restricted airflow that the client has for a number of different reasons. There's restricted airflow, and our new systems, because they're made to be so efficient, just won't tolerate it. So as things get more efficient, airflow went from a second or third order issue to now a first order issue almost all the time. So airflow, airflow, airflow. It is absolutely essential. So knowing where your filter is so important. This happens to be an air handler. I've been using this girl as my example for all kinds of stuff. Couple kinds of filters. Basically your primary two kinds of filters are this guy, okay? This is a media filter cabinet. It holds a 4-inch media filter. They come usually about 11 MERV, which is a rating for filtration, how much it filters, how tiny of a particle it will filter out. And this guy, these are pretty simple. You just open that door, you pull it off, the filter's right inside here, and then you put the filter door right back on. They're probably the easiest because they stand straight out and say, hey, I'm a filter and I'm right here. Most manufacturers recommend changing these once a year. I personally recommend changing them twice a year. They are $55-$60, so that is a consideration. But I think, again, airflow, airflow, airflow. The cleaner the filter is, the better off you are for the rest of the system and for air quality. So this is also, because of its nature, is the type of filter that provides even though it is the tightest from a particle perspective, because it has giant long pleats in it, the filter size in there is actually this big. It's huge compared to a standard 1-inch filter's pleats, which are quite small. So this actually gives you less resistance for more particle removal than any other type of filter that there is. So, absolutely a good idea to put that on there. On an air handler, the other place that you're going to find a filter is right inside this door. You can see this, I don't know if you can see this little thumb screw. There are thumb screws on either side of this. And because we don't use it, the condensate line is in the way here, so I can't open it and pull the filter out of it because this blocks the way. But these two thumb screws go out, there's a little door on there, and then the filter would slide quite literally out like this. That is the other most common area you're going to find a filter in an air handler. If this was a furnace, okay, and I don't happen to have a furnace at this location, typical furnace location for filters, you're going to see a big return air duct coming down the side, and then it's going to go right into the side of the unit. Between the jacket of the unit and that drop, we call it, of ductwork, in between those two spaces is usually a filter door right inside of there. And you would kick the door open or slide a piece of metal out of the way, and then your filter would be located in there. If you don't know where your filter is, I sincerely suggest you take 15 minutes, go down, look at this video, and try and locate where your filter is. It is absolutely essential. I can't tell you how many times we have a filter that's so dirty it gets sucked into the blower and destroys the squirrel cage, destroys the bearings on the motor, and in general, every year that you run that, imagine if you put a cap on your muffler and drove your car for 10,000 miles. Well, you wouldn't expect to get as many miles out of it as you should. It's the same thing with these pieces of equipment, and making sure that they have the least resistance during operation is going to make the system just last so much longer. So when in doubt, change your system. When in doubt, clean the system. Just keep on top of these things and they just will last so much longer. Thanks, guys.